Food is obviously, we don't exist without food, right? And so with COVID, that was a big wake-up call. You know, all of a sudden, grocery store shelves are empty. What are you going to do? And of course, where I live in Montana, we've seen a huge influx of people. I mean, because Montana really didn't shut down during COVID. We're a pretty fierce, independent stock in Montana. You know, we kind of like to say we can take care of things. And when you have the truck or the tractor break down and you're 60 miles from town, you figure out how to fix it. Because otherwise it's a long walk. And that's kind of probably, it's a good way to maybe phrase, you know, what that overall mentality is. And so, you know, looking at the film, you know, there are, you know, the emphasis is on multi-generational ranch and families. You know, everybody's watched the television show Yellowstone. This is not that. Has nothing to do with the park. Has everything to do with that lifestyle of living on the land, utilizing the land to make a living, which ranchers and farmers do.
There's not a lot of murder in your documentary.
Yeah, so. Nobody's going to the train station. The Indians aren't trying to kill each other or kill the other guys, the cowboys and stuff. But it's the real brutal truth of what goes on the land. Again, you know, what we look at there is that, hey, you know, when you have a multi-generational ranching family out there and they maybe have been there for 150 years, and if they're there for that long, they've obviously done something right. And at the end of the day, if you lose that family for whatever reason, you lose that institutional knowledge of, say, conservation on the land, the management of the grass and the wildlife in there. And so what we try to do is delve into a lot of those issues. Food is obviously a big part. And of course, you know, we delve into the fact that, you know, that there is a funnel where food goes to, and it's constricted to a handful of corporations that literally have monopolistic control over it all. And these ranchers are all, you know, they're basically told what they're going to make, you know, every year. And, you know, most of them, especially the ones that are also farming, you know, they're leveraged to, you know, and 98 cents of every dollar they make goes back into pay for fertilizer, fuel, the John Deere stuff. And, you know, I've got ranchers telling me they've got 13,000 acres under plow, you know, farming, and they can't figure out how to make it pencil for a new combine next year. It's just too expensive. And there's not enough commodity price to make it work. But again, we're getting back to this whole idea of, okay, you know, the food side of things. What you were talking about, you know, these guys are trying to figure out how can we, you know, diversify. You know, we have, you get these families that have been on the landscape, and of course they have children. And of course their children have children and children. And you have all these generations. And of course it's like a spider web, right? It gets bigger and bigger and bigger.